Are taxes too low in the UK? In this video, we will explore the average tax burden. We will focus on data, not feelings. There have been plenty of articles in the mainstream media arguing for higher taxes in the UK. These articles mainly focus on taxing the rich, or put differently, higher taxes on other people. Most articles explore wealth taxes, progressive income tax rates, or higher capital gains taxes. So, should taxes increase in the UK? Or are we already paying too much? If we believe in this article here, the tax burden hits its highest level for 70 years. But is this really the case? Data, not feelings. So let's look at some data. There are many great data sources, including cross-country data provided by the OECD. However, comparing taxes across countries can be quite challenging as the systems differ considerably. Please leave a comment below if you want to know more about this issue. I can cover this in future videos. This video focuses on UK data based on the ONS and the OBR. The description provides links to the data sets. The Office for Budget Responsibility has an amazing data section, which I highly recommend. All the data is available to download for free. Of course, there is a lot more to discuss when it comes to taxation. For instance, wealth taxes are a lot less effective in practice, as measuring wealth can be difficult. In addition, double taxation needs to be considered. Of course, all of these little issues are mostly beyond the capabilities of many journalists, shall we say. Taxing the rich, which basically means not me, but somebody else, is appealing but dishonest. First of all, who is rich? Can we capture all income sources in a similar way? I leave these issues for future videos to discuss. Please leave a comment if you have any suggestions. Let's go back to the data and focus on measuring the tax burden. The data provides a detailed overview of tax receipts and expenditures. I copy-pasted a selected number of time series into a new Excel file to conduct a descriptive analysis. So I'm mostly focused on the aggregates relative to GDP, and then the aggregates compared to a fixed price level. And I will talk about this in a minute. First, I copy-pasted public expenditure and tax receipts in nominal terms. So this is based on the prices in 1946, 47, and so on. Then I did the same in real terms, so this is fixing the price level. And finally, I expressed all these figures relative to gross domestic product, GDP. I also put another column here, just for entertainment, where I stated who was in charge in the UK, so who formed the government, whether it was Labour or the Conservatives, which is maybe interesting to analyze this further. It's always good just to look at a time series before applying more advanced techniques. In particular, this can tell you something about trends, about structural breaks, which are sometimes not that easy to address later. Note that the OBR data also includes forecasts. Most time series start in the 1950s, hence we can assess the long-term trends in taxes and expenditures quite well. And personally, I quite like to look at long-term behavior, not just the last few years. This gives you a much more accurate picture. So let's explore nominal values, that is using prices at a respective point in time. You see this here in the line chart. We observe a very pronounced increase in tax receipts and expenditures. If you have a similar time series, it might be a good idea to use log scales, which I covered in another video. So this allows you to explore exponential growth. Of course, inflation is the main driver for this massive expansion of the state. We can account for inflation using a fixed price level. But even after adjusting for inflation, we observe a considerable expansion. Fortunately, the UK experienced growth in real terms. Hence, more goodies provided by the state can be supported by more growth. The best measure is to use receipts and expenditures relative to gross domestic product. This adjusts for a change in price levels and also higher living standards because of the expansion in real terms of the economy. Now, relative to GDP, tax receipts and expenditures have remained a lot more stable, as you can see. Historically, can we argue that our tax burden relative to GDP is the highest for 70 years? Let's look into the data a bit more carefully. Have a look at the current level, which is 14.458%, and compare this to previous values. And you can see we had a similar level in 1982 and 83. Of course, this was under a conservative government, which is interesting to note. However, one must note that the figures were affected by the Falklands War in 1982. The costs were about 2.8 billion in nominal terms, or roughly 1% of GDP. So that's quite a significant distortion of the figure. In summary, taxes are high relative to GDP, but only compared to the recent past. There's a lot more to discuss, including additional data sources and time series methods. If you want to know more about time series analysis, please have a look at my Udemy course. The link is in the description. This course covers everything you need to know if you want to get into time series analysis. There's a lot more to explore in future videos. Please leave a comment if you have any suggestions. May the force be with you.